When I saw that clip initially, all I could think of was Pinky. Say another motherfucking word and it's over.
Welcome to Aunties Court. Court is now in session.
Auntie Court is in session. Here's where we take viral moments and put them under scrutiny. Review. We're not lawyers here. Not one of us is not one lawyer, but we are here to give you perspective. All right. The case, The People versus Delayed Accountability, featuring Clifton Powell. In today's case, we have growth versus responsibility. Clifton Powell, he's 69 years old, publicly stated that he was a womanizer for much of his life, but now he says he's learned to love. He is now monogamous and credits this a woman, showing patience, teaching him. He also attributes his past behavior to how he was raised. And things got a little bit heated when the accountability mirror was held up and he had to look at it. Roll the tape.
I come from a whole nother era than any of you Negroes is talking about. And I'm not saying I'm right, but most of this was laid on our parents' parents.
Yeah.
My father was born in 1915. His grandparents were slaves. So it's not your mother's fault. It's not your father's fault. It's not your fault. We were born into 450 years of post-slavery PTSD. I am 69, be 70 in March. I've just learned how to love. Our parents didn't know how to love. Their parents didn't know how to love. And if I could say anybody maybe had an edge, it was the women. That's why I celebrate Black women. I live with a psychiatrist, forensics detective, gangster, loving, who's just been patient with me to teach me how to love. I called my buddy, man. I said, I'm fucking up, bro, really bad. So I never been monogamous. So I don't fucking know
What age did you become monogamous?
Today. So when I hurt my girl, which I've done over and over, and I commend her for even being with me, I called one of my partners really brilliant. He said, when you hurt somebody, where you leave them is where they stay.
One thing that I just want to talk about, accountability, like, yes, we can talk about what our families did to us, but eventually comes a point where you have to decide, how do I want to live my life? I haven't talked to my daddy in 6 years. I don't give a fuck about what my family has gone through. I know where I will go. So it's like, you can only say that for so long. Black women are tired. Everybody in here, several people have talked about going to counseling. Have that upon yourself. Stop waiting for a woman to tell you what you need to do. Take that upon yourself.
Let me address that real quickly. For me, I didn't know fucking how to love.
Can I say one more thing? No, I have to say this, because another thing that happens is, too, you live your life for so long, and I'm not meaning no disrespect by this.
It's all right. Just say it, bro.
But when you hit your 60s and your 70s, I want to be right.
Okay, but let me...
I want to live my life right. I want someone to take care of me and protect me. And that's what a lot of women have issues with.
Because I'm living it right the fuck now.
As I said.
Listen to
I said 60s and 70s.
Let me say this.
Y'all overtalk me.
I'm going to fucking overtalk you because you're talking out of
but you're not going to disrespect me.
You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I am.
I do. Love it.
I do.
You don't know what the fuck you talking about.
Oh, I do.
You can't.
I do.
Shit.
I do.
You don't know it, nigga.
I do.
Good. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Fuck out of here. You can't tell me what the fuck I'm living, nigga. You cannot fix no shit that you don't even know is happening. Let's get to the truth of this shit. You can't fix no shit unless you meet somebody on another level to help you elevate to understand. I'm not indicting anybody. I'm telling you what the shit is. You can't fix some shit that you don't know about, bro. Yeah. And then you get there at 69 or 70 and say, I thought I was being loved all this time.
So, is growth invalid because it came late? And at what age does ignorance stop being an excuse? Here are the formal charges. 1, delayed accountability. 2, emotional labor as rehabilitation. 3, blaming upbringing versus owning your behavior. And number 4 is late growth redemption. Or is it just convenience? And now you're getting old, child. You need somebody to be with and cut it on. Counselors, let's weigh in.
Accountability should not start at this late stage in the game. His age should not be the excuse of now he's learned to love, because you've had more time than not, as you was hurting the person that you was with, to understand and realize you are causing harm. You can't wait until there's consequences where they divorced. There's no accountability for what you did until after she's left. Oh, now I should take accountability or realize that I did harm. I just don't get that it should have taken him this long, because now you have the dating pool where you have individuals in their 50s, 60s, and 70s who are looking for people to take care of them. So now they want to say that they're trying to heal themselves. The young man in the video, he made some good points. But I also think he's coming from his background and what took place during his childhood for him to have the strong feelings that he had. We don't know all the particulars behind why this argument took place, but I will say that he should not have taken this long to take on the responsibility of I know how to love now at the age of 70. He should have taken accountability sooner.
The way I see this case is it a question of perfection, or is it a question of whether people are allowed to evolve publicly? Society asks men to become emotionally aware, but when they do, they are often criticized for not doing it sooner. Growth requires awareness. People cannot take responsibility for behavior that they don't understand. Emotional maturity develops over time, especially for older generations of men socialized by suppressed feelings. If you go back to the old adage saying of men don't cry, men don't show emotions, and all those key things. Awareness often comes later in life. Like, we all become aware of certain things that we may not have either tuned into or had example of or anything like that. So he's actually taking accountability for his lack of emotional intelligence is commendable. Public admission is accountability. So the fact that he's actually publicly admitting his bad behavior, he's taking a huge risk. He's an actor. He's a public figure, ego, reputation, respectability. People don't do that. And this matters because silence would protect image more than honesty. The fact that he's actually making a public acknowledgement, it helps to inform younger men not to do some of the same things that he has done over his years. People make mistakes, people learn, people change. So partners can choose whether to stay or partners can choose whether to leave in certain instances. I'm not going to say in all instances, but in this particular instances, I don't think there was any form of abuse or controlling of his partner. So they had an opportunity to leave if they wanted to leave or continue to grow and stay with each other. So late growth in life still has value. If he did not have an example or no one to tell him these things, but now he's sharing it as an older person, it helps inform a younger person not to do those same things.
When I saw that clip initially, all I could think of was Pinky. Say another motherfucking word and it's over. That's the first action I didn't see. All I saw was Pinky.
He ain't never going to get rid of that.
Yes. I'm just keeping it at one. I'm keeping it up. And I realized it was a serious situation. I literally had to watch it like 3 times because I kept seeing Pinky. But then, all right, both valid arguments. Now I want us to talk about, we played the role of prosecution, defense. Let's hear what you really think.
I actually watched the whole episode. He started realizing what was happening and he knew that he needed to talk to someone in order to do better. Unfortunately, it took him longer than normal, but the fact that he's realizing it now, wanting to sit in that circle of men, all different age groups, and all discussing, it was like a therapy session. It's almost like what they were doing on the shop. I'm just happy that he's realizing it now and he wants to pave it forward to the younger generation, letting them know therapy is key because it was always shunned upon back in the time when he was coming up. And it took him divorcing his wife to really realize, damn, I lost a good one.
He won't be the first one to say, damn, he lost a good wife. But
I know.
There's probably other men out there who probably say the same thing. Or women who say they lost a good man. Listen, it goes both ways. I think taking accountability is commendable. I think publicly taking accountability is commendable. I don't want to discount what he's doing, and I don't want to take away the credit of his growth. But I do think the fact that he is an actor, unless he just went and did his job and went home and stayed away from everybody, I don't know. I just feel like there was other influences around him to show him what a healthy relationship could look like or should look like. And he missed those opportunities. Huh?
How do you know that?
I'm saying because he's an actor, I would have, but I did say unless he went home and just came in, did his job and left, I would think that he had other influences around him. And to your point, he probably was around a bunch of assholes. Who knows? I don't know.
He's just coming from an era where men were taught no emotion, you don't share your feelings, don't cry. And he went through that for years. Even in the acting world, he had a problem with trusting.
We know that men were taught not to show emotions, especially our men.
He probably did come across some good examples. But the problem I see is that Black men don't talk to each other enough.
Very true.
Okay? So to have this round table, I think is commendable, even though we mentioned, Joe, you mentioned quicker than I could on the shy. I love seeing that because there's not enough of that. Yeah, they can hang out. Black men do hang out. They get together. They do all these things together. But where are the real conversations? It's surface level shit. Whereas women, we tend to have more of those real conversations. But even then, it's layered. Sometimes we don't have those real conversations, which is why we tend to have certain views, and then we tend to not want to look at things from a different perspective. 69-year-old men, they're from a certain generation. They don't have the emotional literacy. They wasn't taught that. If you're not taught it, you can't teach your sons that. I don't know if he has kids or anything like that. And then the cycle continues, right?
Yeah.
So the issue I raised earlier is that he was a womanizer. A lot of men in that age group, that's what they thought that you're supposed to do, that conquer. He made a comment in the clip that, with a woman now, she taught me how to do X and Y. She taught me how to do, this and that. So where's the accountability? Young gentleman holding that mirror up saying, women are tired. And that is true. But at the same time, we are tired. But at the same time, a lot of us date these projects thinking we can change, hoping that he'll change for me. A lot of women do that. When he done showed you what he was about. Is it all on the man? Clifton aside, is it all on the men? Is there a cycle that both genders participate in this whole thing?
Yeah. And that's one of the things I pointed out, like in my defense. And I believe that, like I said, people stay. Sometimes they want to stay. So, there's certain circumstances where they have no choice. But in this particular instance, she stayed because probably because one of the things you probably said, Key, is probably she thought she could fix him. Who knows what her reason is? But or sometimes people, they ride the waves. They just stick it out through thick and thin, for better or for worse.
That young man, he probably has gone through it. It showed up. But some things that it that he said resonated with me when he said, listen, I don't care what my family did. That don't mean I got to do that. So he was able to acknowledge and learn that at a very young age. Clifton could have been like, okay, this is what they showing me, but there could be something better. Yeah, I could act a different way. So I guess when the young man held up that accountability mirror, and I keep calling accountability because that's when things got out of hand to some degree. I feel like, Clifton, are you really you still accountable? I think he's going through his healing, but he got a little stirred up when that young man was saying
he
ain't fully healed yet. He ain't gonna tell me. I tell you, it's crazy.
He wasn't healed yet. He made it clear on there that he's going through it right now.
It shows.
Yeah.
I think probably because some young dude, bucked up at him probably as well.
Exactly. I'm looking at the two different generations.
I love that young man had enough balls to say to this man, his senior, and it's not out of disrespect, right? It's out of holding him accountable and saying, listen, dude, you didn't have to continue these things. And I always say that people try to say, this is all I know. That's what
crazy.
You don't gotta, you don't have to do that. You can grow, you can move forward, you can change the things that you don't like. So to me, when people continue to do some of the things that they know they shouldn't be doing, there's some level of they like what they're doing because either they're getting away with it or whatever have you. Yeah.
Once you get to a point where you know that something, hey, I could, there's men and women that do shit that they don't know any better. Let's call. But once you get to the point where you're like, yeah, I could have did this. That's when you know better, you do better.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And he's still working through it. I think we all in some instance are work in progress.
He decides
and hopefully he continues
after the divorce.
Well, hopefully. Well, listen, whenever you go,
it's gone. That's why I'm happy he's acknowledging it now.
Because there's a stigma in the Black community. There's many Black
people. He talked about that.
They don't need therapy. And half the people that say they don't need therapy, damn it, they do need therapy.
Yeah. You ain't going there if you got to go and talk your feelings out.
Yeah. The fact that he's still going through it, hopefully he continues because people can start. They could admit some things and they can say, oh, I'm doing the work. And then all of a sudden they get derailed and then they go back to their excuse of why. And at that point, you can't say you didn't know.
Can't say that we want men to grow and then mock them when they do. Right?
Absolutely.
So this round table was showing that he's showing his growth. I get it. But when the young gentleman asked, when did you become monogamous? He was like, today. And so I yes, women are bashed. I understand why. And I just think the young man was trying to hold up that mirror and he just didn't want to look in it.
Yeah.
So there's still some growth that needs to happen. And I hope the young man gets the healing he needs, with his father. I understand that very well. Some people were actually bashing a young man, talking about what he's being disrespectful. What does he know? 20 plus however old he is against it. No,
I think he's
sometimes
26.
26, 69. Yes, you can learn from a 26-year-old.
6-year-old.
And I think people have a problem with that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
All right. Is he guilty of delayed accountability? Is he not guilty because personal evolution has no expiration date? Or is it a gray area? He's guilty of late accountability. He's not guilty of refusing to grow.
What was the
I
second
think
part?
it's a gray area is both, because at least he's acknowledging now.
Yeah.
I know it's late, but
Yeah. For him to do this publicly
Yeah, that's a lot.
it's a big step.
is a big step.
At least he's growing. At least he's making the change now.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that there's, for, other young men and women, the people that are steadfast in their ways, this is how I am and this is how it's got to be. I hope that they can learn from this and see a different perspective, that you can change, you can evolve, you can grow. And guess what? Who's responsible for that growth? You. Ain't nobody's responsible for that but you. So.
Yeah, stop thinking we can save people. They got to say their damn selves. They grown.
Save yourself. On that note.
Peace, everybody.